Hello, this will be my first attempt at a video response. This is going to be to win Tower Guard DM's video on psionics. First of all, for a good video win, I think you covered a lot of products there in a pretty short period of time, and I think that's good to give some exposure, particularly to those OGL products that aren't nearly as well known as the Wizards of the Coast products. Some of those I haven't read myself, so I wanted to, I guess, sort of do a combination of my own review of the Expanded Psionics Handbook and maybe address a few of the things you didn't cover there in that book. Like you said, it's a 3.5. This is the 3.5 update for the complete Psionics book for 3.0. It was $34.95 was the cover price of it when it came out. I think it's substantially cheaper than that now on eBay. It was copyrighted April 2004. In the book, there are 9 playable races. Some of them do have ECLs, which make them a little less playable, but they're all Psionic-themed races. A lot of them are sort of taken from the 2nd edition races that were used in the Dark Sun campaign setting, Thrykrins, Half-Giants, for example. But they give you some more playable information for Githyanki and Githzerai, which I think both those races are very interesting and can make for quality playing characters. I myself am playing a Githyanki in a game we do like every other Saturday, and one of my players in my front rows game played a Githzerai, so I have seen them used in that capacity. And of course, there's a good amount of information for them in 2nd edition Planescape, but more is always better, particularly when they haven't been that well fleshed out. They include Thrykrin here with a bit more information than you're going to get on them. I think they originally appeared in the Savage Species in 3.0, and there are a few other places as well, but a bit more information, more cultural details you can use for ecology is always helpful as well. They have 2 races who, as far as I know, initially appeared here. The Alans, who are basically just humans. In this version, they say during different times there's different council members who make cultural decisions as to what they're going to consider their style of beauty, and then to apply that to their selections. At this point, they're selecting primarily redheads. They are actually aberrations. They were once humans, but they go through a ritual that creates them into aberrations and gives them a few different little bonuses. They lose the standard human abilities, and they end up taking a -2 penalty to charisma with no stat bonus. But they're pretty interesting the way they're presented. But my favorite of the races here is the Maenads, which obviously are sort of culled from the Dionysian mythology, and in this they're both male or female, and they're very interesting because they're essentially this sort of internal battle that goes on when they're trying to suppress this primal bestial aspect of their nature, and they even have an ability that allows them to almost rage like a barbarian, which is pretty interesting. And they're primarily psionic. I guess they just sort of threw them in here. They could have been put basically anywhere and been done in a quality fashion to add to any sort of spells or any product like that. But they're very interesting. I like their race. They sort of look like tall elves with sort of crushed up gemstones embedded into their skin. The book also has a large number of feats. Of course, some of them are basically just magical changeovers to psionic feats, and some of them are very different. They have some new uses for skills. They use the concentration skill in some different ways that make the skill a bit more viable, a bit more valid. They have 4 classes introduced. The Scion, which is broken up into multiple classes, like the Wizard and the specialty wizards. But that's your basic, straight-up psionicist. The Psychic Warrior, who has like a 3/4 base attack bonus and is very much generally a warrior. One of the interesting things with psionics is there's not all psionicists get armor, but there's no armor check penalties, no spell failure, any of that sort of thing for psionists. which is kind of an interesting way to make the magic a bit different. Psionics are done on a point system as well. They aren't just a first level spell, a second level spell, and that sort of way. They're also spontaneous. And some of them have built-in metamagic feats to work with the psionics, which makes them more usable at higher levels. So that's something else I like about the psionics. Actually, you said when that you'd mostly seen people that love it or hate it. I'm actually more in the middle. I used to be more into the I really don't like psionics. Don't think it has a role in D&D. And I thought it was handled in AD&D First and Second Edition very poorly. I didn't like the mechanics. I didn't like the complete psionics book in AD&D Second Edition. I didn't really use them, but I think the Expanded Psionics Handbook is done very well. I like the way they present psionics. They make it different. They make it very easy. There's no spell memorization. It's a spell point system, which I think is excellent. I really enjoy that. And with that, with the combination of the nils, some of which you and feats, some of which you can only use if you are a psionicist, if you have caster level psionics. They come off as substantially different enough to not be, as you sort of pointed out, not be too similar to a necromancer or a druid or a cleric or a wizard. The book also has psionic powers, of course, psionic items, and a load of psionic monsters. Some of them are very interesting. The artwork is fantastic in this book. They have there's 9 PRCs. My favorite is the Elithid Slayer. I think it's very interesting. It's sort of a Ranger Scion mix. You could probably do a fairly decent one with a Psychic Warrior. I believe you need Dungeoneering and Track as prerequisites for the PRC. And it has a full base attack bonus. It's a 10 level class, and you get Psionic spells at every level except for first. So it's a pretty good class. There's a lot of special abilities that are devoted around being immune to or helping you against Elithid abilities. So that's something that really stood out to me. Also in the base classes, didn't cover this, there's a Soul Knife, which is vaguely like a thief. Really the only thing I like a thief is they're really a striker. They're not that much like a thief otherwise. I think they do have move silently and hide in shadows. They kind of like the X-Men character Psylocke. They just have this magical knife that comes out of their hand with this mystical energy, and they attack you with it. They're okay, I suppose. And they have Wilders, which are more sort of the, I guess, sorcerer equivalent of the psionicist. They have some strange abilities, and maybe even a better way would be, they're more similar to wild mages, perhaps. I think the class is okay. I'd prefer the Scion or the Psychic Warrior of the 4 classes. So I just wanted to add that bit there and sort of get my own video in about this book. It's a nice book, really nice cover art there.